What is up, guys? Frugal BC, and really interesting day today. Oops, got my volume on there. Excuse me. Yeah, so big White House crypto summit coming today, and I hope to actually live stream stuff from the crypto summit, but I don't think that's actually a thing. I don't think that's what they're doing. And so yeah, Rowan Villanelle says thanks you to Snail. I don't know what that means, but should be an interesting day today, for sure. And I'm sure a lot of the stuff we talk about may be out of date by the time, this is around this time tomorrow. Have a lot more news on what's going to happen with this crypto summit. We already have Trump signing the executive order on the Bitcoin reserve, and we're going to dive into that. We got the text. I got a copy of the text that we're going to read. I'm going to be searching for more updates as we go through the live stream, and we might go for a while here. Oh, that's Snail. Snail with groceries. Okay. Now I know. Now I know what you're talking about. Yeah, okay. All right. Well, that's weird because I don't see any before that. But I had my chat off, so maybe it's not showing me the old chats. I'd have to look. In fact, I can look. I'm just going to take a look right now, real quick. I'm just curious. That's weird. Yeah, you'll have a nice laugh about that, huh? Oh, there you go. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, it was only showing me from the thanks you to Snail down, so I didn't know what that meant, but now I see. Now I see it. Okay. Anyway, hello guys. Hello Snail with groceries. I'm trying to remember what your other name was. But you got a new handle. A couple of people got a new handle that I'm seeing. Ice Age Trail saying good afternoon. Welcome, Ice Age Trail. Yeah, we got a big audience today already. That's cool. Rowan, hello. Snail, hello. Welcome to the show, guys. Yeah, a lot of stuff going on today, and it's me, Gary the Snail. Yeah, Gary, that's what it was. Yeah, see, it's like I almost had that in the back of my head that it was Gary. So okay. Yeah, lots of interesting stuff. Now, I'd hoped originally that there would be some sort of scheduled press conference that I could plan around, but it doesn't appear that that's the case. But I'm imagining things will be kind of coming out as we go now. What I understand is the summit itself starts in maybe about 10 minutes. And from there, here, I'm going to close this window. In about 10 minutes, so that would be 12:30 Central Standard Time, 1:30 Eastern Standard Time. It goes for about 4 hours. So, like, if they did have a conference, it'd probably be at the end of that. We're not going to go that long. As much as I don't know. The longest live stream I ever did was our Christmas special, and that was a lot. But Algorand does have some. Oh, I forgot about that too. Algorand does have some representation at the crypto conference. It's not anybody directly from crypto, just to be clear, but it is someone who, and we will cover who that is. Some of you probably already saw it, but we'll talk about that later in the show. So keep an eye out for that. Get some news from our sponsor, Marcus Aurelius. I think that's going to be interesting. So we will look at that. Let's see. El Misterioso says happy Friday. Welcome to the show. And Tarun Kumar, Algorand, and a little hang loose kind of thing. So yeah, good news coming from Algorand today. I think we had some interesting videos this week. I just had to put my sponsorships in there into the main video. I got some news around Sam Bankman-Fried going on Tucker Carlson. I haven't watched it yet, but there's some interesting stuff around that came out that I pulled up recently, which is going to be something else. So we'll dive into that. And Charles Hoskinson giving a huge shout out to Silvio Macaulay, although it was it's interesting because my understanding was he was invited, but then I'm hearing some stuff that he wasn't invited. So I'm really confused. I've been seeing like a list of attendees going around and they're all different. So I don't know what to make about that. Travel Tim says, been a while, just got back into the country. Well, welcome back. Welcome back, Travel Tim. And welcome to the show today. We got a whole lot of people watching, so if you haven't already, please do hit that like and subscribe button. In fact, let me just take a look. Like I always say, by the way, you have to smash it. I mean, you can smash it if you want, but you don't have to smash it. You can just press it ever so gently, and it works that way too. We're getting close to 5,600, and I'm really excited to get to 6,000. I think that'll be a big deal, and my goal is, if possible, to get to 10,000 at the end of the year. So that'd be great. And yeah, I have some news coming up too, but I don't think I can share it quite yet. But there'll be a new partnership coming up, and it will be sort of separate from the channel. You won't see the work on the channel, let's just say that. And we'll tell you more about that when I can share. There's a contract coming. I haven't signed the contract yet, so we'll see. Now, as far as videos this week, I think we had some good ones. Sorry, it's a problem with doing these after lunch. Rowan asking about my name and where I'm from. Well, I don't put that out there too much. If you scour around Twitter long enough, you'll probably sort of figure it out. But yeah, I don't like to put that out there. BC, I go by BC on here, and that's what I do. So, and what was I talking about? Oh yeah, videos this week. We had a news about HBAR this week. The big thing was the ETF incoming. I was just filed for with NASDAQ. Just filed the forms. That's pretty cool. I'm excited about that. And you know, the funny thing with the HBAR videos, whenever I share them, they always tank initially and then they do really well after. So I think what happens is most of the people who watch my videos right away, like, they're Algorand people and not HBAR people. And yeah, no problem, Rowan. Yeah, and I'm not offended or anything. I just I just prefer not to. I give a rough idea. Like I said, people, I'm not like super careful about it. People can probably figure it out if they tried hard enough. Fortunately, I'm small enough that it doesn't really matter. I don't think I have any stalkers yet that I know of. But I don't know. Did you guys see that stuff with Amaranth? That was like really scary. Someone broke into her house and apparently tried to force her at gunpoint to share crypto passwords and stuff. That's really scary stuff. And apparently she shot them. So that's you know, she got one of them apparently. So she thinks anyway. Yeah, like I said, I mean, she's so famous that she was selling jars of her flatulence, which I would never do. I wouldn't subject anybody to that. It's pretty rough if you ask me. Philip Riley saying algo, and Snail with groceries saying geez. Yeah, scary stuff. Like, and there was police reports on it, so it actually happened. It wasn't some kind of attention scheme or something. As far as we know, I mean, the police are investigating it and taking it seriously. So yeah, and then there was a thing with we kind of reacted to one of Emaru's videos. I got to know her a little bit, not personally, but the only reason I'm aware of her is because she's on a podcast with Asmongold called Steak and Eggs, which is pretty good. I talk a lot about gaming and stuff, and I don't know, I just get a kick out of Asmongold. So, and I liked her too. We reacted to a video from her because she was doing this game in crypto where the audience would kind of pick her portfolio, and one of them was like Algorand and then this other coin, and she ended up going with Algorand, so it was kind of cool. Oh, how's the audio doing, by the way? I think what I found out, so this is kind of interesting, and we'll be getting into all the stats and fun stuff soon. But one of the interesting things I learned is that apparently, even though on the audio mixer in OBS, it looks like you're peaking out, your actual audio output might be way, way less, and it was. And there's a back end thing you can do where you can boost the audio. Oh, sounds great. Good. Awesome. So it was at 100%. And the guy was saying that you should go up to like 200%. I was like, well, that sounds kind of insane. So I didn't, yeah, I wasn't going to do 1,000 or whatever. No, but I tried 200% and we'll just see how that works. And good. We're getting good comments on the audio. So good. El Mysterio says one of the few dudes, consistent algo content. Kudos. I think 10K subs will definitely happen. Yeah, I hope so. It's been pretty consistent. We had a huge jump over December. December was huge for views and huge for subscribers. I think I got almost like 500 in the month. And I was like, going into December, I was like, yeah, I hope it'd be really cool if I got close to 5,000, or maybe I get there. And then it was like 10 days into December, I think I hit 5,000 already. And now we're at like 50, almost 5,600. So it's been pretty steady. And I just try to make good content and try not to worry about it too much, to be honest. You know, there's not a lot you can do. All you can do is do your best and make the content as good as you can. And I've been trying to improve the quality because I had some talks with, I mentioned how I was having trouble getting John Allen Woods on the show. And someone said, well, you know, we really love the channel. We love the information, but you know, your quality isn't that great. And I was like, oh, well, okay. I guess I got to work on that. You know, it's hard when it's good to get that feedback, and it can be tough, you know, it can be hard to not get defensive. And I probably got a little defensive, and then I thought about it. I'm like, okay, well, how can I like improve this? And so, I think the videos, I think I'm improving the videos, the recorded videos, and then with the audio, this ought to really help too. So, all right, that's enough of me. And don't let me forget to shout out to sponsors. There's probably a critical part where I will do that. But let's, like as always, let's start with the markets. And yeah, I'm glad the audio is much better. Oops, hold on. There we go. All right, so we are at 88,000, and I think we were at 90 this morning, so it's down a little bit. I'm really curious what it's going to do, what all of this is going to do with the crypto summit today, with the Bitcoin strategic reserve already signed. And look at this chart on the side, you know, it's just kind of up, down, up, down. It's crazy. And I don't know what explains this. I honestly, this is a whole new world that we're in. Like we haven't had a situation where the people in charge of government are so unbelievably pro crypto ever before. And now I know part of the reason for this maybe is that even though they're pro crypto, I think they've been doing a lot of bad crypto stuff. Like I thought Trump launching a meme coin was a terrible idea. Oh, by the way, well, we'll get to this. I just noticed this. Altcoin, this believes, oh no, we're heavily weighted toward Bitcoin. Never mind. We've never had a situation where the administration was so pro crypto before, and yet, you know, the prices haven't been skyrocketing in response. We've had some pumps, and they're always very short. Now, some people say that people are selling off, and there's probably some degree of that. I don't doubt it. We had a really long bear market, and when you have a chance to take profits, I think a lot of people will. I do that too, but it's like 10% usually, maybe even less. Because you always want, it's good to take risk off the table, and the more profit you can take, the closer you get to de-risking. And my whole bull run portfolio, by the way, is completely de-risked. So I'll go to zero and I will be in profit. Not very much, not very much, but I will be in profit. So, and then that's like great. So you can just hang on to it. And if it goes up more, I'll take a little more profit. If it doesn't, well, it is what it is. I hope it goes up more. So, well, let's go through this. Yeah. So Ethereum's been like, it's just been dogging, man. It's just been dogging. I don't even know what to say about that. And XRP, you know, it's nice to see that at number 3, up 16% on the week. I mean, that's pretty good. We'll go through and look for big winners in a minute. Yeah, Solana. I mean, I took profit much higher than this, so I don't even know what to do with this. Just, I don't really, it's not low enough that I want to buy. This is the thing, you know, because a lot of people are talking about buying the dips. The problem is this is so far over my average buy that why would I buy that? It doesn't make any sense. And I got screwed on that. You know, I tried doing that with PYR and Valley Forged. Valley Forged? Not Value. Viking Forged. No. Yeah, I can't even remember what that. Vulcan Forged. That's what it was. Jeez. Making up all kinds of things today. All right. So, yeah, and I lost. I'm actually down on that now because I tried buying the dip. So, not buying no more. It was a lesson. It's like if you get a dip that's under your value, you should probably buy that because you can lower your average cost. But if you're going to raise your average cost, it probably doesn't make sense. Unless you really, because you just don't know. Like, I still think it's not a certainty that we're going to have more bull run action. I hope so. I'm not ready to call it out yet. I think it's probably going to come at the end of this month or early next month, maybe early May, if it comes at all. Pi at $1.81. Now this was interesting because for a while Hedera was at number 11, which was pretty significant. And if you look at the price, I think Hedera is pretty close to, if not, let me skip down. We're going to skip ahead. Yeah, Algorand and Hedera are like lockstep in price. In fact, Hedera is a little bit ahead now. But it's got 500, it's got 50 billion tokens versus 10 billion with 42 billion out. So most of the supply's out. By the way, people were really mad about how much the circulating supply, how fast it was coming out, but now like everything's out just in time. So maybe not a bad thing. I never had a problem with it because I'm like, hey, it's right now, it's the bear market. I don't care. Like, it's just helping me get more at my average. It's helping me get a lower average buy. So why would I care about that? That's good. Now, if they're doing that now would be, if they're releasing a ton of supply, that'd be really bad. Yeah, 2.84 billion volume, up 13%. So pretty good on the week. Not the best. But yeah, 20. I was wondering if that would happen, and it did finally happen that Hedera overtook Algorand in price. Philip Riley says, I'm a dip buyer personally. Nothing wrong with the pools. Yeah. No, and that's fine. You can take that strategy. It depends on what the dips are, though. For me, I'm not going to buy a dip if it greatly increases my average buy. But that's just me. None of this is advice. This is just, I'm just telling you what I do and what has worked for me. Yeah, Bitcoin Cash. That's crazy. 26% on the week. So I'm not doing so great. Let's see. Hyperliquid, that's one I hadn't seen like a month ago. Or 2 months ago at least. Near Protocol, man. I took profits at like $7, I think, with this thing. Let's take a look here. I like Near Protocol. I actually like the old wallet structure where the Near wallet was also like the ecosystem portal, which is kind of what Para has become. Let's just go back a year. Yeah. Now we're up higher, up at like $8, which also was back in, did I go all time? No. Oh, I see. I'm looking at the wrong thing here. Yeah. I didn't realize it'd gotten that high back in April. Yeah, it must have taken some profits back then too, I thought. Yeah, I just, Aaron Olivia says, Algorand LFG. Yeah, let's go. All right. Yeah, so I mean, what I do, by the way, is I just have on Coinbase. I have most of these on Coinbase, and I just take profit. I put in orders, sell orders at certain price levels, and when I hit those, I set a new one. But yeah, near hasn't really recovered. Not nearly recovered. Ooh, okay. I'm done. Ethereum Classic having a little bit of a bump. I'm just looking for anything. Yeah, the Trump coin's still around, $13 a piece. And I remember this was at, what was it at? Like 40 some, right? Oh, I skipped Pi Network. I'll come back to that. Is that a month ago? No, it was more than that. Yeah, it was at, it was up, I guess it was only up like 30 some. Oh no, here we go. Yeah, $72. That's what I thought it was like in the 70s when it launched. This is a really typical meme coin curve, And you were here, you missed it. anywhere in here, you missed it. These guys have any of these major coins, and probably a lot of the smaller ones. They are, they're sniped. Like, you're not going to win this game. Trump, you might have been able to get in on it because I think some people got in around here. It just had enough hype, but a lot of them, it's just sniped before anyone can get to it. There's Trump signing the crypto reserve order. We're going to talk about that. We'll get to that in a minute. Yeah, one other interesting thing I wanted to talk about here is, where was it? Yeah, Pi Network. So this is crazy because believe it or not, my sister, who is like kind of into crypto, she actually got me into this. And let's see, 7-day. Yeah, launched on February 20th and went live. So this was like 2018 or 2019. My sister got me into this, and it's like on your phone, you would just daily hit a mine button, which you still can do today, by the way. You can still do it today. And it's like you need to set up a network. I should probably make a separate video on this at some point. Started by a bunch of Stanford PhD people, and I thought, like, well, it's free. When you got something that's free and you can just, the only payment is that you just have to hit this button every day. I was like, fine, I'll try it out, whatever. And to be honest, I completely forgot about it. It was on an old phone. When I lost my phone in Miami, well, I didn't, it went in the water with me accidentally. So iPhones don't like to swim, I guess. And ended up not working. And that's where my Pi Network app was. So yeah, like I said, forgot all about it. And then all of a sudden I saw that it launched, and it's like, it's been up to almost $3 a piece at one point. I got like 300 some of these that I didn't do. All I did is push a stupid button for. So that's pretty cool. I think I have to like switch it over to mainnet and then do some other stuff with it. So, and then I'd have to set it to an exchange. BitCat has it. OKX has it. That's about it. So anyway, I just thought that one was interesting. Yeah, let's look at the top. Who's top on the week? On the week, Cardano did really well. And I think a lot of that is because Charles Hoskinson was supposed to be attending the crypto summit today, which we are going to talk about. And Bitcoin Cash doing really well. Kronos and BitGet's up there too. The BitGet token plus XRP at 16%. Chainlink doing well. And then, of course, Hedera. So top 10, rounding out the top 10, Movement, Aave, and Eunice said Leo, which has been around quite a while, but I haven't ever looked into what it actually does. Oh, Mysterioso says, I'm a daily DCA and I buy the big dips when I can. Long term, I think algo holds value better than the dollar. So yeah, take occasional profits, but not often. Only to increase my position. Yeah, it kind of depends on. So that's another strategy. It's different than the strategy I'm talking about. And Algorand, my Algorand strategy is very different than the other coins that I hold, because I'm not buying to sell off. What I'm doing is doing LPs instead, and basically taking a ignore the gold rush and sell the shovels approach, which I kind of talk about in my members video, and I talked about that in my Tiny Man experiment video earlier this week as well. So my strategy around Algorand is totally different for that very reason. I actually might take, after this bull run, I might take more of a DCA approach into Bitcoin, because I think it's going to be pretty solid over the long run. And that's fine. A complete DCA strategy is totally okay if that's what you want to do. Like, you're probably leaving some gains on the table, but also you don't have to worry about timing, and you can just kind of set it and forget it. So there's a lot of there's a lot of different strategies. No one is necessarily more correct than the other. It's just what you want to do, except for like buy high and sell low. Obviously, that's the one thing you don't want to do is not have a strategy, because what you'll do, you'll get really excited when the price is going up and you'll buy a bunch. And then what people do when it goes down, they sell it because they're like, oh, this is stupid, I'm selling it. That's how people typically lose money in crypto. Rowan says, Snail says, congrats to you and your sis. Thank you. Yeah. I think, I don't remember. She told me how much she had. I don't think it was a lot more, but I guess my nephew is doing it too. And he's got like 800 of these coins. So he did pretty well on it. Rowan says, I have 300 Pi, but I can't get it. So You know what I found out? I logged in with Facebook. So I logged in with Facebook again and it popped up. So, question about algo staking once faucet is turned off. Are we hoping that transaction numbers will be high enough to cover the node costs? I assume you're meaning the rewards that are coming directly from the foundation. So yeah, once the that will end one day, and hopefully by the time that ends, Algorand's value is much higher. But yeah, then you'll just be paid by the fees. So there won't be any no payments from the foundation at some point. And they're already dropping. They were 10, now they're like 9.9. What the foundation is doing though, as they drop the cost, as they drop the rewards, they're also increasing or decreasing their stake so that people are getting more blocks. And they never take rewards for the blocks, just to be clear. They're not taking any of that. They're just putting it back in the pool. But that's an important thing to know, is that they're also decreasing at the same time. So in a sense, your APR shouldn't be affected too much. Eventually, though, they'll have all their stake out, and then also the rewards will end. So yeah, eventually it will be just fees. Philip says the problem is transactions become taxable if I'm correct. If you're talking about LPs, yeah, probably. I deal in such small amounts that I don't really worry about it too much. And not financial advice, it's probably the wrong thing to do, but for the amounts that I'm operating in, I just can't see the IRS getting, especially since they're about to get decimated. I don't think they're going to have time to go through on-chain data for a little fish like me, but yeah, you never know. Yeah, I don't remember what the reward cutoff is, Michael, or I don't remember. I don't know if they talked about that. I think it's like a slow winding down, but you might be right about that time frame. Travel Tim says, do you know a good exchange to set DCA buy orders automatically? Coinbase has that feature, but the fees make it not worth it. Oh, I don't have a problem with the fees. But make sure you're using Coinbase Advanced. Then it's like way cheaper. Yeah. I mean, unless you're going to deal in like really tiny, well, not any tiny amounts. I don't really want to pull it up on screen. Let me see. Let me see if I can get, okay. Just give me a second. Yeah, if you use the Coinbase Advanced, I don't think the fees are that high. Philip says, buy the USDC first and send your wallet to avoid fees. I don't really have a problem with that. I'm pulling up my orders right now. I just want to see what the fees were. In fact, I can just go right to fees. Fee tiers. Oh, okay, hold on. Let me just dig into my orders here. Okay, so I sold a bunch of SWI. Oh wait, is this one filled? No, it's open. Let me go to, it's gonna pull up a filled order. Okay, here's the HBAR one. Price, fee. Yeah, so the fee on like an $80 order was like 28 cents, which is not nothing. It's not nothing, but so I mean, if you're making like if you're talking like $50 or more, I don't know. I don't think that fee is like really too bad for doing sell orders. I mean, it makes it, yeah, it takes a little, they take a little cut, but I mean, it's more than you would do doing Algorand. So you can't do it automatically yet. Although I think there's someone working on that where you can set limit orders. In fact, I think I flagged it. We might talk about that later, but let me just try another one for another chain just to see if it's, yeah, this was a $30 or 30-cent one on a $50 order. I mean, it's not great. It might like better. Here's an $150 sell order on Bitcoin was like 91 cents. Yeah, I mean, I could see why it would be. Yeah, I just don't think that's a big deal. Mysterio says, does Coinbase charge those fees for DCA of USDC? Best to buy USDC, transfer to pair, and convert there anyways. I'm not sure. I don't think I've ever bought USDC on here. I have USDC from making sell orders, but yeah, I usually just buy Algorand and transfer it. And you pay like I think the fee is pretty minimal for making big buys as long as you're using advanced, which takes a little getting used to, but it's not that bad. Curious about taxes. When you take profits, do you cut off like 10% of cap gains and set aside in a touch account? I just kind of take I just kind of take a round. Listen, don't get advice from me. Okay, don't get tax advice from me. Actually, you know what? I'm not even going to talk about it because I know that I don't do it correctly, and I don't want to like be accused of giving bad advice. Yeah, I don't want to be accused of giving bad advice. So I'm gonna steer away from the tax one. Don't ask me about taxes. Travel Town talking about automatic buy on the schedule. Well, I don't know if the fees are different than that. If you do it through advanced, I imagine the fees are similar, but I haven't done that. I've never had it set up automatically, so I don't know. Any news on the MasterCard Parallel Wallet for the US? Being tested right now, so they said about maybe 6 months for the US, and so yeah, we're looking at this summer probably. Mysterio says, I bought Coinbase one for $30 a month and I don't have any fees. I was paying more than that in the past, so it works for me. Yeah, I mean, you got to kind of do the math. And, you know, I'm only really doing transactions on Coinbase like, yeah, maybe a few times a month, I think. Ride the Sky is making a mention of JP Richardson. That is coming up later in our, I'm going to save that because that's coming up later in our show. Algorand is greater than. Fair, Philip Riley laughing. Yeah, so yeah, no, I know I don't do it correctly, but also I think the rules have been pretty squirrely on crypto, and I think this time we're gonna have some. I have a feeling they're gonna say no tax on U.S. crypto. I have a feeling about that. Yeah, well, let's get to the. We're really spend a lot of time on some of this stuff. Let's go to Vestige and check out the market in Algorand. So still top is tiny, but yeah, down to 3.5 cents. So my rewards have gone down a bit in the last couple of days from tiny, which kind of sucks. And that's part of the reason why it's gone down. It's gone down itself. It was going up even while Algorand was going down, but it has stayed in this roughly 3 to 5 cent range. So when it's low, I just kind of keep it on the side. Chips, Vestige, yeah, not doing so great. Pokegold up on the week and on the 24 hours as well. And Monko having a little resurgence after kind of falling down a little bit on the end of the week. Someone sent me Monko. I don't know who. I might have won it. Maybe I won it in. I think I won some Monko in the Astro Explorer game. Votecoin, Everyday Algonaut has been in here. Compex token down a little on the week, up on the day. Gora falling quite a bit on the 24 hour, but still seems to be up on the week, so good for that. Opulus still hanging on. There was a little blow up. I didn't save it, but there was a little blow up around Opulus today, and Lee Parsons was like, "Oh, Algorand community still butthurt. We're living in their heads." Like, yeah, shut up. By the way, the community manager got super mad at me when I made a video about how Opulus was leaving. It's like, well, is it untrue? Like, sorry. You took money from the foundation and then you just go to another chain. I don't have a problem with multi-chain, by the way. I think that's actually okay. Let's see. Yeah, and there's a new one called Fish Stick, Dolan Duck, and Goon. Brand new ones are biggest gainers, which not really a surprise. That's just kind of how it works. Something called Mammy, not doing so hot. But something called Buy Token apparently is very popular. So, and Balzac having a little edge up. This is what you get when you talk about Algorand meme coins. Let's see where we are here. bands. It's interesting because it's really been taking these very light bounces off of the bottom of the Bollinger Band. This is like more typical right here. This is usually what you see. And yeah, look, I mean, had a huge run up after that. And that was even like a little bit high for the RSI, but it is below 40. Usually anything below 40 and you're at the bottom of the Bollinger Band, there's a really good chance you're going to run up. And that's what happened. Right now, kind of in no man's land, a little on the bottom, but it's a little high for RSI, so probably middling for a while. We'll wait to see when it starts dropping lower on the RSI below 40 and starts getting to the bottom of the Bollinger Band. We might have a huge run up again. That's what's going on with that. Got some comments. Got a really good comment section today. Lots of subscribers, as I always say. Remember to hit that like and subscribe button, and you don't have to smash it. You can just press it gently. Works just fine too. Do you think no tax would cause long-term holders to sell? No, I don't think it'll make much difference, honestly. I don't think there's anybody that's like holding on because of taxes. If you're in profit and you want to take profit, you're going to take profit, I think. Travel Tim was responding to El Mysterio and said if you set up a recurring automatic buy, let's say once a week, the price becomes a spread. So the Bitcoin you buy is always 1% more than the spot price. That's interesting. El Mysterio says, I only currently buy USDC daily and convert Ampera to Algo or DApps. Yeah, how does that work when you send it? Like, does it automatically know? Because I thought USDCA is on there now, right? Does it convert automatically, or how? I'm always worried about that stuff because that's why I always send Algorand, because I know it's Algorand going to an Algorand wallet and I know it will work. Michael Orr says, Isaac, maybe in the short term just to get some profit, but I think long-term investors would rather put money in a no inflating asset where they don't have to pay taxes. True story. Yeah, you probably. I mean, I just don't think it'll. I don't think it'll spark people to sell off more than they already would have been. Like I said, I just kind of take my. I just kind of rely on Coinbase and whatever tax report they come up with. That's what I count. So, but don't take it again. Don't take advice from me. Okay, let's see. We got some stuff. Okay, so first off, we got Trump signing the executive order. So I think this is pretty interesting. Let's, I'm going to put this on so I can hear it.
We're keeping that promise. Today we're signing, and this is very historic, an executive order establishing a strategic Bitcoin reserve and digital asset stockpile. This is a promise that you made throughout the campaign, and today we're keeping that promise. The reserve will be capitalized with Bitcoin that the federal government already owns, so it won't cost taxpayers a dime. This is like a digital Fort Knox for digital gold. And premature sales of Bitcoin over the past years cost American taxpayers over $17 billion in lost value because we didn't have a long-term strategy.
Right.
Now we do. So.
And this is something you believe in fully?
100%, yeah.
Okay.
And the whole community believes in it.
Very good. And I made the promise, right?
Absolutely.
He's going to do the hold up. He holds it up to the camera. You guys hear that all right? It's pretty quiet.
Okay.
So today we're signing. This is very historic.
I get such a kick out of him, like when he holds up. He always has to hold up the thing, like, you know, doing the little photo op thing, which I think is kind of neat. Yeah, so this has already happened, that he signed the executive order establishing the strategic Bitcoin reserve and U.S. asset stockpile. Now, what is that, you might ask? Well, we actually do have, let's see. Here it is. All right, so this is right from David Sachs. And David Sachs has been like appointed the crypto czar. He's a venture capitalist dude and also was on the All In podcast. So it was kind of funny. I started listening to them probably about maybe a little less than 6 months ago. So it was crazy. Oh, it's good. Okay, awesome. And David Sachs, so I was listening to him on this podcast, and then all of a sudden he's like in the news as the crypto guy, which is wild. El Mysterio says convert of USDC to Algo in Para is super easy, and I believe it rewards the community too. Yeah, I was talking about going from Coinbase to your Para wallet. Like, does it automatically convert to USDCA, or do you have to specifically trade for USDCA? Anyway, David Sachs, here's the text of the executive order, which is the establishment of the Strategic Bitcoin Reserve and United States Digital Assets Stockpile. Let's read. Now this comes before the Crypto Summit. The Crypto Summit should be ongoing as we speak. By the authority vested in me as president by the Constitution and laws, blah, blah, blah. Bitcoin is the original cryptocurrency, true. Bitcoin protocol permanently marks the total supply at 21 million coins. Yes. Has never been hacked. As far as I know, that's true. Yes. As a result of its scarcity and security, Bitcoin is often referred to as digital gold. And what they mean is that it's a store of value over time, which makes sense. Because there is a fixed supply of Bitcoin, there is a strategic advantage to being among the first nations to create a strategic Bitcoin reserve. Now, they go on to say, and I don't know if a lot of people know this, the United States government currently holds a significant amount of Bitcoin, but has not implemented a policy to maximize Bitcoin's strategic position as a unique store of value in the global financial system. Yeah, so we got all this Bitcoin coming in because they seize it from various crimes. By the way, the FBI is very good at doing on-chain analysis. So if you're a criminal and you're doing something in Bitcoin, like, well, you're probably not anymore because people find, they're going to find you. Like, they know how to get to you now. Now if you're a criminal, what's the worst thing that can happen is that your ledger gets intercepted by police. For example, I was watching this show on some of the cocaine cowboys of Miami in the 80s, and this one group got busted wide open because they got pulled over when they had their ledger in the car. So having a digital ledger online that's immutable, like, that's kind of the opposite of what you want when you're a criminal, right? So I mean, if it is going on, it's probably going on like Monero or a privacy coin or Tornado Cash or something like that. So anyway, he says, just as it is in our country's interest to thoughtfully manage national ownership and control of any other resource, our nation must harness, not limit, the power of digital assets for our prosperity. Yeah, so I think there was a stat that the FBI had sold Bitcoin for like 17 million, and that Bitcoin today would be worth like 500 or 600 billion or something like that. So this is why they want to hold a strategic reserve. Same thing with oil. It's like when it's, that gives you some flexibility in how you handle it. And frankly, we got a lot of debt to pay off. So if Bitcoin soars and the government can make a little money and pay off debt, that's probably a good thing. So that's the policy. Nothing too interesting there. I'm just trying to see if there's anything like, so yeah, within 30 days of the date of the order, each agency shall review its authorities to transfer any government Bitcoin held by it to the Bitcoin strategic Bitcoin reserve, and shall submit a report reflecting the result of that review to the Secretary of the Treasury. Government Bitcoin deposited into the strategic Bitcoin reserve shall not be sold and shall be maintained as a reserve as reserve assets of the United States, utilized to meet government objectives in accordance with applicable law. So I mean, they're not going to like just be selling it. How they use it, I don't know. Maybe they'll spell that out. The Secretary of the Treasury shall establish an office to administer and maintain control of custodial accounts collectively known as United States Digital Asset Stockpile, capitalized with all digital assets owned by the Department of the Treasury other than Bitcoin that were finally forfeited as part of criminal or civil asset forfeiture proceedings and that are not needed to satisfy a requirement under 31 USC 9705 or released pursuant to subject of this section. Yeah, so there's kind of a separate, there's a digital asset stockpile and a Bitcoin reserve, and they're separated. It's kind of what they talked about. They said earlier in the week, I think the Treasury Secretary said they would be handled differently. And this is reflective of that. The Secretary of the Treasury shall determine strategies for responsible stewardship of the United States digital asset stockpile in accordance with applicable law. So I think that's the main thing. That's the main thing. I mean, this is how it's going to be used. So it's not like they're going to go buy up a bunch of Bitcoin or other assets. Like, I think a lot of people were maybe under that impression, but that's not what's happening. It's basically stuff that they seize, usually through doing investigations, finding criminals and seizing assets. And if they don't have to use those assets to pay back people who are victims of the crime. But first off, yeah, okay. So, okay, government digital assets mean all government Bitcoin and all stockpile assets. Head of each agency shall not sell or otherwise dispose of any government digital assets except in connection with the Secretary of the Treasury's exercise of his lawful authority and responsible stewardship of the United States digital asset stockpile pursuant to subsection B of this section or pursuant to an order from a court of competent jurisdiction, etc., etc., etc. Canon should be returned to identifiable and verifiable victims of a crime, be used for law enforcement operations, be equitably shared with state and local law enforcement partners, or released to satisfy all requirements under these 31 USC, 28 USC, 18, and 21 USC. And then within 60 days of the date of this order, the Secretary of the Treasury shall deliver an evaluation of the legal and investment considerations for establishing and managing the strategic Bitcoin reserve and United States digital asset stockpile going forward. There's some accounting stuff on here. This order is not intended to, nor does not create any right or benefit, substantive or procedural, enforceable at law or in equity by any party against the United States, its departments, agencies, entities, officers, employees, agents, any other person. White House, March 6, 2025. I've actually I don't know if I've ever actually read an executive order before, but this is what we got. I'm going to get to the comments in a minute, but there's one other thing I want to talk about. We'll get to that. Okay, someone mentioned J.P. Richardson, by the way. And he says, honored to receive an invite from the White House to participate in this Friday's Digital Assets Summit. I've been calling it Crypto Summit, but you get the idea. It's imperative to recognize the importance of self-custody. I'm looking forward to the conversation. Now, who is J.P. Richardson? Well, he is the CEO of Exodus. Many of you may know Exodus was the first publicly traded company to tokenize their stock on a blockchain. And guess which blockchain it is? It's Algorand. It's Algorand. Now, he had something more to say. Let's see if I can find it. Yeah, here it is. He said, he wrote, I'm so fired up. We got a strategic Bitcoin reserve. The U.S. government can now buy Bitcoin even better without tax dollars. Nations, companies, and funds are all considering their Bitcoin strategy right now. And I thought they said, didn't they say they weren't going to buy Bitcoin, but it's just from seized assets? I thought it very specifically said that. Did it not say that? I swear we just read that. Oh, no, they're not going to sell it. Okay, fine. Fair enough. They're not going to sell it. Not necessarily don't buy, but I get the idea. My impression was that it was coming from seized assets or other things like that. But anyway, Anyway, he said, yeah, nations, companies, and funds are all considering their Bitcoin strategy right now. The market is asleep at the wheel, but you don't have to be. And Sherry, who's a Algorand person, actually, what does Sherry do? Okay. Says, hey, JP Richardson, will you be talking about the benefits of Algorand at the Crypto Summit? And JP Richardson said, when tokenization of equities comes up, I will definitely bring up Algorand. Awesome. Way to go, JP. So yeah, he's invited. I think that's awesome. I think we're gonna see some good things from that. So it's good to know Algorand in some way is represented. Now, one more thing I want to talk about before I conclude here. Oops. So this is Charles Hoskinson saying that he was saying who he thinks should be invited, and I kind of agree with him. So let's listen.
There's a lot of people who really need to be in the room, who are domain experts, who have enormous knowledge about the industry, who aren't yet in the room, like Lehman Baird from Hashgraph, for example, who thoroughly impressed me when I spent some time with them, or Silvio Macaulay from Algorand, for example, or Avery Chang from Aptos, or Benjamin from Multiverse X. There's hundreds of these people that we know, we've engaged with, and we say they understand the technology, they understand the markets, they understand the underlying science behind the technology, they understand how people make money lawfully and not so lawfully because they've run into all these different people throughout the years, and they understand every dimension and aspect of the industry. There's a lot of people who really need to be in the room.
That was the whole thing. So yeah, even Charles Hoskinson saying he thinks Lehman Baird and Silvio Macaulay both should be in the room. Frankly, I agree. Both are geniuses. I saw Silvio Macaulay speak in 2022 at Decipher in Dubai. Definitely got the impression I was in front of a genius, you know. Can't say that that's happened very often in my life, but that was one where you're like, oh, this is like a real genius in front of me. Like, this is a guy who, you know, this is going to be one of the greats. And I imagine from what I've heard, Lehman sounds pretty smart as well. So, yeah, I think they're, now I don't know if Hoskinson's there. I really don't. All right, let's get to some chats. That's the end of that segment. El Mysterio says it does not auto convert. Coinbase gives you a prompt as to what kind of wallet you're sending it to. Oh, I see. So it just says, that makes sense. Well, it kind of does then, right? Or at least, like, I guess what I was getting at is you don't have to go buy like USDA specifically. It's like, as long as you have USDC and you tell it what wallet you're going to, it'll send the right kind of USDC. Okay, that's interesting. It says do a trial run with a small amount. Yes, I always recommend that, by the way. Always do a small amount first and try it out. I do that with anything. So that's cool. It becomes para. Philip Riley says scams are seriously the worst thing about crypto. I watch it every day. Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah. And we're going to talk about that because Sam Bankman-Fried is coming back in the news. We'll get to that a little bit later. But yeah, I think you know, the problem is some of it's the perception too, because I don't think it's as bad as people think. I think a lot of people, because they don't understand crypto, they think it's mysterious and that people can commit crimes on crypto easily. The fact is, it's actually really hard to do because it's so trackable. So unless you're really good at hiding yourself, the FBI is probably going to track you down, and they do quite a bit. Mysterio said, "Go JP." Yeah, I agree. Yeah, you might be talking about it right as we speak. As far as I know, the crypto summit should be ongoing. Hold Bitcoin, buy BSV, put economy on algo, done and done. Silvio should 100% be in the room. I agree with that. But he also, like Charles also said something earlier about how Macaulay was working on some really, really breaking edge stuff. And I'm like super curious as to what that is. He hasn't really talked about that. So I'm very, very curious what that is. Would it be the best time to get some recognition for Algorand? Yeah, I agree. Socializer, that's a good name. Yeah, nice to get a comment on X, and also Kick too. If you're on Kick, give us a comment. I don't get a lot of most of my comments still come from YouTube, which is kind of interesting. Oh, Charles said he's not going to be there. He's in Japan. Interesting, because he was on the list, and yeah, well that's a long flight. I've done that flight. It's at least it's been anywhere from 10 to 14 hours. That flight. I've gone to Japan 3 times, so. Yeah, not an easy flight, but I don't know. For that, it seems like a pretty big deal. I don't know. I didn't know he was in Japan. Is he living there? Interesting. Collaboration always wins over competition and is more fun too, according to Sylvia Macaulay, says Snail. Nice. Mysterio gave a little heart. So anyway, yeah, I think that stuff's really interesting. I'm very curious. In fact, I want to check. I'm checking on another screen. I just want to see if there's anything is going on live. Maybe we can observe it. There is a live ticker. Yeah, that's one thing actually about YouTube. YouTube does a really bad job of spreading the news about live events. I wish they did way better. Fox is live right now. Here, let's watch a little bit. Oh, there's a lot actually. There's even a channel called Crypto Summit Live. Where's the Fox one? CNBC. Let's just see if anything's going on here.
Agricultural product. They wouldn't take anything. We were taking their cars by the millions, Mercedes and BMW and you look, Volkswagen, all of them. We were taking their cars. They weren't taking it. We were taking their farm products. They weren't taking ours. It's a total ripoff. And yet we were protecting them by giving them the money. And, that adds up to a bad.
Okay, I thought he would actually talk about crypto, not this other stuff.
But then we had to focus on other things at the very end with COVID. And
Mysterio said he put out a video titled Japan and
but we had the greatest
title say Japan and or something to that effect. I didn't watch closely. I'll have to take a look. Snail says Japan 3 times. You're crazy, bruv. I never left Bikini Bottom. Nice. By the way, it's really Japan's a lot of fun, but I haven't been there in a while. Over a decade.
He rebuilt the military, only to watch Biden give so much of it away to Afghanistan, if you can believe it. It's not even believable. It's not even believable what he did. The damage that man did or that administration did to this country.
Yeah, they don't have a... Oh, I hate that. Apparently this one doesn't have a live scroll, so I don't know. It's nice, but apparently he's not really talking about crypto. I wanted to scroll through and see if he was talking about crypto. But maybe we'll pop back in a little later and see if he's talking about it. Actually, well, there he says heading to Japan. Huh. Was it on YouTube maybe? Yeah, maybe he's on here. Hey, what's going on, Michael Jordan? Oh yeah, here it is. Let's see what he says. I'm gonna watch all this.
Hi, this is Charles Hoskinson broadcasting live from warm, sunny Colorado. Always warm, always sunny. Sometimes Colorado. Today is March 5th, 2025, and there's been a lot of speculation on many, many things. The crypto industry is special in that it takes a rumor or news, whatever they want, and they blow it up to enormous proportions, and they go in as many directions as they can. The latest event is this interesting little get together at the White House March 7th. So here are the facts. Many of my people know people on that side. That's a true statement. I have emails and text messages to prove that. And there's been some engagement on whether people are invited or not. Nobody knew anything about the list. We were told that there'd be a list that comes out on Monday. We did not get an invitation on Monday. We did not get an invitation on Tuesday. We did not get an invitation today on Wednesday. So I'm going to operate under the assumption I have not been invited to go to this gathering.
Interesting. Well, yeah, it was interesting because they were I saw lists where he was on the list but not confirmed. But it sounds like he didn't actually get an invite to this, which I don't know. There was a thing going around that said he did. Hearing it right from the horse's mouth, he didn't apparently didn't get an invite.
It's a 4-hour gathering at the White House. I guess the president's speaking. It's going to be a roundtable. I don't imagine much policy work will be done. For the last few months, I've been reminding everybody one fact of the American government that may be lost on our international viewers. The president signs the laws. The legislative branch writes the laws. The vast majority of the sustainable permanent action that will be done at the legislative branch level. The stablecoin bill has to be passed. The market structure bill has to be passed, and dozens.
Well, that's a good point, because what happens, a lot of this is being done by executive order. You know, what happens when the next administration comes in? By the way, there's a really good, maybe we can, maybe I'll try to find it on the podcast, Honestly, which is from Barry Weiss's Free Press. She interviewed Brian Armstrong, and Brian Armstrong said that he tried to meet with the Biden administration and then later with Kamala Harris's campaign, and they could not get a meeting with Kamala's campaign. Apparently when they met with the Biden administration, they were they would set up a meeting with somebody, and then at the last minute it would be shifted to like one of their underlings, which, you know, when you got a guy who's in charge of like a company that's worth tens of billions of dollars. Actually, let's look that up. We don't need this anymore. Yeah, 55 billion. So, you know, it's not exactly small fry, and you can't even get a meeting with like the actual official. I'm not talking about Biden either, but meeting with like people under Biden, and they would give him the boot, you know? So, I mean, if you want to know why crypto, and he kind of talked about why the right went toward crypto, is because the left basically shunted them. And I think Trump saw an opening. So Trump said, hey, all these people like crypto, the left hates it. This is a perfect opening. I'm going to be pro crypto. And so I don't think Trump really understands crypto that well. I don't think he particularly cares. But he saw that opportunity that the others didn't. And I think Kamala tried to, at one point, she spoke at some crypto conference, I think. And I think she tried to kind of like start signaling toward crypto, but like, you got to do that. You can't just like, you either got to be all in or all out. No one's going to buy it. And something else that came up today is how it seems like the Democrats are still really locked in on this like scripted, this idea of being super scripted. And you're seeing that with even some of the messaging coming out now. They're all kind of doing the same thing. And that, I think that comes off to people as really inauthentic. And that used to be like all politicians did that not that long ago. And because of Trump, and he just does things weirdly, I think that's part of why he can like turn on a dime and embrace crypto, and people think it's authentic, because He kind of just seems to do what he doesn't really, he's not very scripted. And I think people trust that more. I think we're in the age of authenticity, where authenticity matters more than just about anything else. And oh, I know how that came up, because Charlie Kirk was talking on Gavin Newsom's podcast, which I think is, I'm sorry, I'm really going on a political rant here, but I think it's important because this all relates back. This is how we got here to crypto and where it is. Like, there was a war on crypto that was started by Elizabeth Warren. And, you know, we complained about a long time on this channel. We complained a long time that it was kind of regulation by enforcement and not really having actual regulation. And Brian Armstrong didn't necessarily talk about this on the show, but he said that they had wanted to comply with the rules. They got this Wells notice, and they said, "Hey, well, what can we do to comply?" And basically they said, "Well, we're not going to tell you." And that was the message from the SEC. So that's why when I see all these cases being dropped, I'm like, I'm really happy about it. And maybe there's some that shouldn't be dropped. I don't know about the Hex one. I've not seen good things about Hex. I don't think it's I don't know. It's been a really long time since I looked into it, but the last time I looked into it, it looks really sketchy. So, but that's why this is happening. And I think, shout out to Gavin Newsom. I know a lot of people don't like him, but he's at least having a podcast, doing an unscripted podcast and having people come on that disagree with him. I think that's awesome. So I'm going to celebrate them. I'm going to celebrate that because I think more politicians in general, or just people on the left especially, should be doing that. And I think that's how we get to a better place where we can all actually talk to each other. El Mysterio says, "How am I still the only like button hit? It's been an hour." Is that really true? I don't think it like updates though. Let me see. Oh wait, wrong one. Yeah, I'm really behind on that, by the way. I got to update my Substack. No, there's 27 likes. 27 likes. But do hit the like button. I agree. Do hit the like button if you haven't already. Yeah, let's see more of what he has to say.
Other things are going to have to be written into law, or authorizations given to the bureaucracy of the United States to standardize things. For example, when people go, well, Elon Musk is going to go use Doge and blockchain the U.S. government, blockchain everything. Okay, well, how would the DOD write an RFP? What standards are they going to use? Is there a FIPS for it? Is it like FIPS 190 or FIPS 203? No. NIST is going to have to get involved, and dozens of other agencies are going to have to get involved to create a baseline of definitions of what is a blockchain, what is a digital asset, what is a consensus algorithm, what's good, what's bad, what's decentralized, what isn't decentralized.
I think he's making a really good point here. There's a whole lot more that needs to be worked out. So this is the opening, but like we got to start somewhere also. So I think the US having a strategic Bitcoin reserve and a digital asset stockpile sets the message that they're taking it seriously, and then more of this stuff can follow. That's what I think. Yeah.
Before you can even write an RFP for people to bid on that, you can't award no bid contracts to people. I'll refer you to the JEDI program back in the day. So you need an active Congress. You need a lot of work in the administrative agencies, and the gears of the federal government are slow and methodical. A lot of people are trying to jump the fence. They're trying to create optics because that's what our industry does. It's a very optics-driven thing. I consistently have dinner with congressmen and senators, both former and current, and I will consistently do that. And I consistently get pieces of legislation. And when I say I, it's the Royal I. It's my organization. People in the organization are affiliated with it. And the lawyers look at it, they mark it up, and we have an opinion. It's something we've done for years, whether it be back in 2022 when we were looking at early drafts of FIA, or later on when we got drafts of FIT 21 as they were working their way through the House. You can see pictures and you get meals and events throughout the years. And I said back in November, we don't really know what's happening on the executive side, but on the legislative side, we will continue pushing forward on that because that's where the action is. I'm not entirely sure, and I don't really think anybody really knows what exactly the administrative policy is going to be on the executive branch. And these summits, while they're important, because they put a spotlight on the topic. The real work does require many people from across the spectrum in a bicameral basis to work together to get things done.
He's definitely not wrong, by the way.
So we have a policy office. It's led by Joel Telpner and Cynthia. Cynthia was the one that you all saw recently with Bo Hines and other industry leaders. Then there's a picture on Twitter. It's public. You can see it. But she's also talking to the policy groups that Perry and Boring and other people lead and others. And we constantly engage and ask, well, what's going to happen? Who needs help where? For example, if there's a standards effort to standardize cryptocurrency definitions, where's that working group going to be nexus? In NIST or somewhere else? Is it from the Department of Commerce or is it from the Treasury Department or somewhere else? There's working groups at the SEC, which are going to be spawned. First round has been announced. More rounds are coming. There's working groups at the CFTC that's going to be spawned. It hasn't been announced yet. There's probably going to be announced sooner rather than later. Then they got to work together. And that's just two of the many agencies that are going to be involved. The defense industry hasn't even gotten involved yet. Cybersecurity standards, for example, have to be set. There's dozens of things to do. The U.S. government is a leviathan. Everybody focuses on the president. Everybody focuses on the White House because it's simple and easy to do so. We have tried throughout the last 3 months to have meaningful engagement and get a better understanding of everything from how they were thinking about creating a crypto czar. And it's an absolutely true statement that before the election and after, we made meaningful attempts to reach out to the transition team and talk to them about what they wanted to do and how they wanted to do it. And nobody really knew. And then the czar was announced. Okay. And other people were announced. Okay. And then it was confusing. We'd hear, well, they're going to have an advisory council. And for a while, that was the narrative. Then we heard on.
Yeah, well, this is because this was done for political reasons. And like, to be clear, I don't care that it was done for political reasons because I am getting what I want, which is basically I want a pro crypto administration. And I think I think Trump had a lot of smart people around him that were giving him good advice. David Sachs, I think, is really smart. I think he's a great guy to have in that role. But yeah, also, like, I don't think it was really all that well thought out. It was more like, we want to do this, and so we got to do it. Okay, so El Mysterio says, I have to drop off. Have a fab weekend. I'll keep up the algo content for UFC. 10K subs incoming. Appreciate that. Appreciate you being here, Snail. Also says, much love. Everyone stay safe this weekend. Yes, safe. I'll be safe out there, guys. So I just don't think there was I don't think I think it was kind of like, let's just signal pro crypto, and then when we're office, then we'll start figuring out the details. Which is, I mean, he's got a lot on his plate. He's been coming out of you have to admit, Trump has come out of the gate firing on all cylinders. And if he's doing things you like, you're happy about that. And if he's doing things you don't like, you're not so happy about that. But he's definitely been active. It was kind of funny because I see some people, like, they'll show an image of him playing golf and they'll be like, oh, he's playing golf and not doing things. Like, come on, dude. You have to square that with the fact that you're so upset that he's doing all these things that you don't like. You should be happy that he's playing golf. But anyway, let's get to more
on
of
the
this.
other side. Well, actually, they're going to have these White House gatherings where people are going to come together and talk. Okay. When and how? We'll let you know. They announced it on Sunday, 6 days notice. And everybody's clamoring. They want to be in the room. And there's so many that want to be in the room. There's now like a second event, which I guess has an extra 75 people. Okay. And they're all going to talk to each other, I guess. And they're going to set some policy. And then that policy has to go through the ringer, because then it has to go to the Treasury Department, and it has to go to the CFTC, and it has to go to the SEC. And the vast majority of it, they'll say, actually, we kind of need to pass a law. And they're going to then go to the Senate. And then they're going to go to the Congress. They're going to be talking to Congressman Hill, talking to Tim Scott, dozens and dozens of people. And then when it hits there, they say, yeah, I don't know about that. Hang on a second here. Have you thought about this? So whatever is discussed, by the time it gets there, doesn't make a lot of impact. For example, no tax on crypto, American cryptos. What is an American cryptocurrency exactly? And how is that standard set?
I mean, that's a good point. And this came out while a lot of this was being argued about. Like, well, if you're like, it's a really good point. Like, what is an American crypto? Where does it have to? The headquarters have to be in the U.S. Does the founder have to live in the U.S.? Does it have to originate in the U.S.? Like, what actually is a U.S. crypto is pretty complicated. A lot of times there's an Inc. and a foundation, like for Algorand, and I think Inc. is in Singapore, I think, but then the foundation is in Boston. So yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of different ways you could slice and dice that. I think, and I think if Trump is going to say something like that, he's not going to be aware of that really. So yeah, that's a really good point.
Is it H-bar? You can make an argument for it. Is it Polkadot? You can make an argument for it. Is it Ethereum? Well, Ethereum was founded in Switzerland. The ICO occurred in Switzerland. The inventor of it is Canadian. The majority of the controllers of it are non-American. All the development companies were outside of the United States. There's very minimal U.S. nexus, with the exception of Consensus in the beginning, which came after the ICO. There's a lot of holding and ownership in the United States, perhaps more than 50% of the token. Hard to say. Is it an American crypto? What about Bitcoin? Is Bitcoin an American crypto? We don't know who the founder is. The majority of the supply wasn't mined in the U.S. The majority of the hash power is in the United States. So when you say no tax on U.S. crypto, what does that exactly mean? Feel good statement, but it doesn't really.
Hey, we're going to come back to this, but I want to show you guys some stuff. So I said I wanted to talk about, and I thought this was really, really cool. So this is from Marcus Aurelius. Marcus Aurelius is one of our sponsors, and they put together this video. I'm going to leave the sound off because I'm not sure if it's licensed or not. This one little cut's a little too long. This cracks me up for some reason. This little cat sliding along. That's amazing. So I think he's coming out with physical products. I think that's what we're seeing here. Oh, there's these little plastic cats in here too. Yeah, I like the Marcus Aurelius one. I don't know why I kind of get Dragon Ball vibes from him. Do you? They look a little Dragon Ball-esque. Especially, yeah, that's like a Piccolo uniform, and the one on the right's Goku uniform. But they're supposed to be Roman emperors. Marcus Aurelius instead of Aurelius. I'm a big fan of Stoicism too, by the way, so I think this is really cool. I think that's Epictetus. Yeah, I really love the creativity here. So I'm definitely hoping to get, I think that's good. Yeah, I'm hoping to get some of those. So they're a sponsor of the channel. They're a NFT and meme coin project, and you can check out the link in the description. They're big on Telegram. So they do a lot of stuff on Telegram. I think it's NFT actually. NF Domains. This is our other sponsor, NF Domains. And I like this because you can get vault segments. Here's what it looks like. Manage. Here's my. You can see all your assets owned. There's also a vault. I got a lot of stuff in the vault yet. I got Barb coin. I got Gary. And Gary already left. Gary, there's your coin. Papyrium, red wine, hooker, blow, gold, oil, Algo 200, groceries with bag. I think that's a NFT. Got some Algo Tardio someone sent me, some Jaws, even a little bit of Algo. How much Algo I got in here? Like one Algo, 1.3. And then you can see all your owned assets too. Died of dysentery. Got some Moon Juice, got some Marcus. I think by Felicia. Felicia, friend of the channel. I don't think that one did so well. Balsac. So it puts it in both. Interesting. Dead Chain Diaries is gone. My Realm Space. Yeah, so all kinds of really cool stuff in here. I think it's pretty neat. So yeah, we have a link in the description. I think it's great because people can just send you stuff and it goes in your vault. and it makes doing everything, just knowing your address. Like when I go to, even when I go to ASA stats, it's so much easier just to punch in frugalbc.algo or have it in the drop down menu than it is to have, LV5, whatever. So anyway, I don't want to spend real long on that, but they are a sponsor and we're happy for their sponsorship as we are for Marcus Aurelius. So big shout out to both of those guys. And thanks for supporting the channel. Ride This Guy says, I generally don't get behind meme coins, but I really do like Marcus Aurelius as someone who reads Stoic texts myself. Yeah, me too. It says it's a good philosophy to follow in such a market that can cause so many swings in emotions. Yeah, it's been big. Well, being going from being an employee somewhere to being a business owner, there's a lot of emotions that go along with that, more than I suspected. And it's you constantly doubt yourself. And so Stoicism has really taught me to focus on what I'm doing and just keep doing what I'm doing and not worry about the results as much, because you can only affect that so much. Is you have to do what you think is right. Because this is actually a really interesting thing that happened in Stoicism, is that there was a debate about, well, wait a minute, we're not supposed to care about external things, but like, what are we supposed to do then? Sit around all day and do nothing? Like, how do you square those two things, like ambition, for example, with not worrying about the results? And the Stoicism came to the conclusion that you should focus on yourself and what you're doing and how you're responding to a situation, and not the results are what they are. So what's going to happen happens, but you have to be able to die knowing that you did the right thing, that you did well by yourself. So it's okay to pursue wealth, like, build a business and try to pursue wealth, but also what happens, you got to be true to yourself and do what you're going to do. And if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. I'm really not explaining that very well. The Jonathan Bai podcast had a really good episode on Stoicism, and he explained it much better than I'm explaining it right now. I think I kind of understand. Yeah, Michael Jordan says, let go of the outcome. Exactly. So it's about staying true to you and your values, and then where that brings you. It could bring you fame and fortune, or, maybe you toil away in obscurity. And that takes a lot of self-thought. You have to think about that. Well, hold on, because sometimes you have to change. Like if I know a video isn't getting attention, maybe I'm not doing it well enough. Maybe I need to get better at thumbnails, or maybe my titles are bad, or maybe I'm not thinking about how they interact with each other. I just made that volume adjustment on my thing. And the reason why is because I didn't get the outcomes I wanted. People were saying, hey, your volume is really, really low. And I was like, how can that be? So that forced me to investigate. So, it's something I'm still kind of thinking about a lot. But anyway, yeah, so shout out to Marcus, shout out to NFT. And I want to see, let's see if they're saying anything about crypto.
Some very good people too.
Thank you, sir. And then we have a number of ceremonial proclamations that Lindsay Halligan is going to.
So two very special proclamations, the first of which is a proclamation that proclaims March 2025 as Women's History Month in honor of all the wonderful women in your administration, all the wonderful women in America, and in honor of everything you've done for women in this administration.
Okay, so they're not talking about. They must just be playing reruns, because that's stuff he did before, I think, right? Shout out Frugal. Fisherman says, shout out Frugal for being in chat. Hey, appreciate that, Fisherman. And big shout out to non-fungible domains. Helpful that we got them up on screen right now, eh? Yeah, no, it's good. Yeah, I'm really bummed. I was hoping there would be more stuff to react to on the Trump end. But I just want to go through a couple more bookmarks, and hopefully we'll have some stuff to talk about later. Let's see. What did we not get to? Get to that. Sam Bankman-Fried. So Sam Bankman-Fried went on the Tucker Carlson podcast, and I've bookmarked it. I'm going to watch it tonight, I think, or over the weekend maybe. Tucker Carlson. This is from CoffeeZilla. So Tucker Carlson asked the biggest con man of a decade why he wasn't rescued by his large political donations. To be fair, to be fair, Everyday Algonaut says he's got a new video from yesterday for signing the crypto reserve. Yeah, we did play that earlier in the stream. But I was hoping there was something going on now live that we could respond to for the crypto summit. It's interesting that they seem to be just like trafficking in the title, right? So they put the title out there, but they're just playing Trump reruns. So it's confusing because you pull it up, you're like, oh, cool. It's like from the crypto conference and he's talking. It's like, no, he's not. Anyway, so we asked why the biggest con man of a decade, why he wasn't rescued by his large political donations. Because that's not how it's supposed to work. Well, no, true. It's not supposed to work that way, but it typically does. And it kind of did in the beginning. Remember in the beginning how everyone was like, he got invited to Book Deal and he spoke at Book Deal and everyone was applauding. And that was after it came out that he basically crushed everybody. I mean, that's crazy. We were all watching this like going, what on earth? Why are you celebrating this guy? He just destroyed so many people's finances. And the funny thing is, Brian Armstrong talked about this on the Honestly Pod too. That would almost be one worth just almost reacting to. But he says, he said, oh gosh, I just lost my train of thought. Nope, lost it. Everyday Algonaut says, sorry being late. I am quite sick this week. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Everyday. Hope you get better soon. Well, anyway, so he says it's not how it's supposed to work, but it kind of did in the beginning, and that's kind of how it sometimes works. I just think it was too high profile because he did try to fund both sides, and he was pretty smart. Oh, I know what Brian Armstrong said. He said that the actual business was legit. The actual crypto business was legit and profitable, and he probably would have done really, really well on it. But then he had to go do this other part where he thinks he's so smart that he can take customer funds and gamble with them, basically. And that wasn't really smart. But Nate Silver, when he interviewed Sam Bankman-Fried, Sam still thought he was gonna get off. He didn't think he was gonna get in trouble, or he was gonna get a really light sentence. And boy, was that ever not what happened. So I do actually want to see this now. I do. I think it'll be interesting. But that's not the only thing. Oh yeah, so this part is really interesting. And this was on CoffeeZilla GG. Bankman had a Google document with ideas of how to get out of all of this. And number 3 was go on Tucker Carlson, come out as a Republican. Oh my gosh. That's so funny. Isn't that funny? Come on. That's funny. I think it's funny. While public contributions show one thing, you see another thing, including super PACs. Come out against woke agenda, talk about how the cartel of lawyers is destroying value and throwing entrepreneurs under the bus in order to cover up the incompetence of lawyers. You see this on the right? Sorry, I got to pull this up. Oh my gosh. I love Better Call Saul. I think it's better. This is probably going to get me canceled or whatever. I think Better Call Saul is better than the other show, Breaking Bad. I think Better Call Saul is better. I'm just waiting for the angry comments to come in. Yeah, but this is really funny. Because he said before, this is a strategist. This is a guy who's a criminal strategist, right? So he was funding both sides, by the way. And he said specifically that he funded Democrats and was public about it because that was socially acceptable at the time. And to fund Republicans was not socially acceptable. So he did that through back channels. And that's why the Democrats kind of went to bat for him for a while. It was kind of crazy to see. The same people that were otherwise so anti-crypto. I thought C is interesting because that's kind of what Mark Andreessen said, right? He didn't say lawyers specifically. He said it was the government, but he kind of did the same thing and also came out against the woke agenda, so to speak. He had that long interview on Joe Rogan. So, but I don't think he was not telling the truth either necessarily. I haven't seen anything to counteract what he was saying. I've seen a lot of people say, yeah, I was one of those companies. So I don't know. Kind of curious what else is on here. File the doc with problems about Chapter 11 process. Go with the lawyers. We're in a crappy situation. I feel really bad about that. And like most people do, they react poorly to difficult circumstances. Narrative. Leak out this document to press. Slocron lawyers in Chapter 11 are broken. I don't know what that means. Oh, I guess you have to be able to click the document. Okay. Focus almost exclusively on the fact that we could give value back to customers and the Chapter 11 team is destroying it. Focus on the fact that Chapter 11 team has no idea how to run FTX. It's colonial, run by a cartel of lawyers. He was really trying to throw lawyers under the bus. That reminds me, I saw this. I went to this talk with CE Cup. I don't know if you guys heard of her. I haven't really seen her around much, but she was a pretty prominent right-wing commentator. And so I went because I was covering it for the paper, and this one guy like gets up and asks a question, and he's like, "Well, it's all them lawyers, ain't it?" And she's like, "What is all those lawyers? Like, what are you talking about, dude?" And he's like, "Well, no, I just think it's all them lawyers. You know, there's too many lawyers." She's like, "Yeah, I'm not gonna like sign off on your vague message. I don't know what you're talking about." It was like, it was a weird moment. You get a lot of weird people who are like super hyper partisan. They get a lot of really strange ideas in their head. Come out as extremely pro crypto, pro freedom. Come out with a strong anti-Binance message. Well, I wonder why I do that. I just keep looking at that Better Call Saul image with Sam Bankman-Fried in the background. I don't know why. It just cracks me up. Your Honor, let me paint a picture for you. Oh, we're having fun. Everyday Algonaut says, everybody smash the like button to support Frugal's work. I appreciate that. He says, I think the FTX scam will just boost the DeFi ecosystem. I think, I think it was Brian Armstrong on Honestly who said, like, yeah, this is already over a year in the past. I think people have kind of forgotten about it. To a degree, I think that's actually kind of true. I do. Because now it's like a joke. We all make fun of Sam Bankman-Fried. The customers get whole on that. I got whole on Celsius. Not whole, but like I got my payout. So I lost a little bit on Celsius, but not too much. 11, have Michael Lewis interview me on ABC or somewhere else. Go head to head with Matt Levine on Odd Lots. Really lean into arguments. I'd watch that. That'd be fun. Matt Levine, I don't know if you guys, he has a really good newsletter, although it's really long and it always comes at noon. So it's not really at a time when I'm reading newsletters. It'd be better if it came in the morning. Lean into the story. Really, it was because of tail risk crashes. This was improbable. NAV was like 50 billion early in the year, or Alameda was incompetent, which probably was true. I mean, probably is true, but you shouldn't have been like funneling money into it from customer funds, to keep them separate like you're supposed to. And he had a solid business. Just don't do stupid stuff. All right. So that's that. Yeah, we really got a nice size audience going here. Oh, I don't think we can get to this. There's like a stats for, actually, maybe, hold on. So this is from someone named Thomas. He said, just released a mini web app to get stats for your Algorand staking rewards, such as total algo earned and min max reward per block. And you can go to it. Let's see. I don't know if liquid staking is going to count on this, or I do have some in Ready Pool as well. Yeah, it's just 0. It only counts actual node rewards. So that's why mine are 0, because I have some in a Ready Pool and some, well, a whole lot on liquid staking, but nothing outside of that. So, okay. But that seems like a cool, if you want to track your node rewards, punch it in here and you can find out. I think that's pretty cool. That ended up being a short little segment since we can't really use it ourselves, but in case you missed it, it's algonoderewards.com. So in case you want to check that out for yourself, I think it's pretty cool. Yeah, here's the full interview. So if you go to Tarko Carlson back on March 6th, this is why I think they need a dedicated video app. Well, okay, one more thing I want to talk about, because dang, is this cool. Things you didn't have on your 2025 bingo card, Mr. Beast and Algorand. And by the way, the other guy, that's Malfoy from Harry Potter, so. And they're right next to the Envision Racing team. And I think this isn't the electronic one, right? This is actual Formula One. Let me see what it says. Oh no, this is Formula E. So this is the electronic version. And yes, that's also Draco Malfoy on the right. So I said, last person to take their hand off this car wins 10 million algo. Are you ready? And then I was thinking like Malfoy would be like, yeah, and if not, anyone who loses gets Expelliarmus. That's funny. Yeah, I think this is neat. I've never watched Formula E. I don't know if can you watch Formula E? Mr. B shared it on his thing. So he's sharing Algorand on his I don't know, is that his Instagram? Yeah, that's Instagram. That's what the follow button looks like on Instagram. So well, it got Algorand out in front of people. I think that's pretty cool. I don't know what the story is. Actually, let's find out. Let's find out. Like, did he just visit? Here's a story about it. YouTuber Mr. Beast crashes world's fastest electric car in race car in Miami. Oh, he crashed it. Oh, this is from March 6th. World's biggest YouTube star, Mr. Beast, had jumped into a sample Formula E's Gen 3 Evo car at the Evo Sessions event on Thursday at the Miami International Autodrome, but crashed into the barriers on just his second lap. Well, dude, I probably would too. Like, have you guys ever ridden in a Tesla? It's like the takeoff is like, it's like insane. It doesn't even feel real. So an actual race car, like, my God, I can't even imagine. The 26-year-old YouTuber, the most watched on the planet, and 370 million followers, is at the Miami International Autodrome with Formula E this week, as Formula E hosts some of the world's most followed stars at its Evo Sessions event. Are they going to show it? I'd be so nervous. Yep. Whoop. Oh, so the whole thing. Oh, there we go. Boom. Oh, that wasn't too bad. Because he wasn't going that fast, I don't think. I mean, it probably feels like, oh my God, this is so crazy. Because, you know, if you're not used to it, I can't imagine. I just want to see like the actual, I'll move it up a little bit. Shoo. You know, I get that they're talking it through and stuff, but I think they should have just like let it go all the way around one, like show the whole thing once and then go back and break it down. Sounds like he wasn't hurt. Zoom. He was able to jump out of the car unaided. A medical car arrived on the scene. Car to be recovered. Damage was to the race car. Looked to be limited. Yeah. So I don't know. I think that's kind of cool anyway. Too bad he crashed the Algorand car, but still think that's pretty neat, huh? Yeah, no, I can't see it on here. I saw it on like the other screen. Or did he drive a different car? I think this was like is this a generic, what car is this? That doesn't look like the same car that he was in front of. Hold on, let me go back. It's got the ABB on the front. That looks totally different. Yeah, they must have had a different car for him to drive. So he didn't actually drive the Evo car. Interesting. All right. Well, guys, I appreciate everyone tuning in. I hope everyone had a great day, has a great day out there. And yeah, interesting stuff. Pretty, I'm sure like by tomorrow, we will have a ton of interesting news to cover. So we will probably have a really awesome Monday show. Otherwise, stay safe out there, guys. I hope you're all doing really, really well. And I'm Frugal